Thanks everyone for joining. I was nominated and decided to include 3 others in my whiskey tour for Whiskey Wednesday because I didn't have enough to say alone. So thank you guys for joining. We got Zack Fishman, Ryan Hicks, Gabriella Ferrara, all just hanging out for our evening Zoom call. What's going on, guys?
I kind of think we should have recorded the pre-Zoom chat because that was kind of funny. But
we were just talking shit about everybody, about each other. It was like the camaraderie was just so obvious. It was good.
I agree.
But thank you for nominating us.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel-san. We appreciate
and
that.
Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah.
What are you drinking over there?
So I've got Hudson Manhattan whiskey.
Ooh.
Especially bought for tonight.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I feel so honored.
The other one was gone. How about you guys?
Zach, what you got?
So it's funny. I decided that for tonight I was going to try my best to make something as out of the box as possible. And I had a lot of trial and error on the last supplier happy hour that Mr. Monson from Social Joey hosts. I was kind of in the background back over there trying my best to make something, and it went wrong about 5 times. So anytime that I ever tell a girl ever again that I'm good at making drinks, I'm lying to you every time. So you guys have it here first.
But you're good at ordering drinks, Zach.
I'm very good at ordering drinks.
Yep.
He knows it.
The truth
Never
is
gets it wrong.
I'm drinking a nice bourbon with Cointreau, and then I also have some lemon juice in there. So otherwise known as a sidecar. So that is what I'm drinking.
Wow.
very nice. For me, it's a little less glorious in a sense, but it's glorious for me because my house whiskey, and I have to have my nice decanter, but my house whiskey, or excuse me, this is bourbon, is Woodford Reserve. So
that's a good one.
That's what I'm going to be
Good
tasting today, and that's my house choice.
So mine is because whiskey is not necessarily my main choice, but I do like a good JMO ginger. So I went.
Sheesh. Wow, she's going for,
Jameson.
she's going for it tonight. So that I think takes us into our first topic, which is that we're all single. So I mean, like, we're all single to a certain extent here. None of us are married. Let's put it that way. We're still all drinking Jameson and ginger on a
kids that we know.
That's
of.
really what it is. We don't have kids, so we're not teaching. We're not becoming rising star teachers over here, which I think is always good news, right? I mean, I think that that's like really the biggest thing. So. Dan, I'm curious, what have you been up to over there throughout all of this? I think that that's like my number one question. You're in the middle of everything.
You're at the epicenter, man.
Yeah, I mean, not much. I watch TV most of the day, take some naps. That's really it. I don't know I don't have anything really going on.
Living your best life.
Yeah.
But you did just get out to go get some whiskey, right?
Because I ran out. Because I had.
And so did that feel like a monumental movement to go do that?
I will tell you that I do get pretty dressed up usually to go out to Target,
Really?
Oh, yeah. Jeans, sunglasses. I've kind of struck up a nice relationship with the drive-through girl at Starbucks.
Your newfound love.
I go once a day in the morning. It's honestly, I kid you not, it's 20 minutes away drive from Hoboken to like Edgewater, which is like, down
right next door.
Yeah.
And it's the only Starbucks available with a drive-through. So not only is it to be open, so not only is it 20 minutes, but there's a car line about 20 minutes long. So it's about a 40-minute trip. Hour 20.
That's an activity.
Just for a call.
He's just taking a trek for the sake of taking a trek. And I'll say the funniest thing about being in this house is I actually did not go home after unconference at all. So I've just been here just straight up. And so I had very little clothing to wear. And so I'll say this, I mean, our wonderful client at Fishman Anytime Fitness is getting unbelievable ad value inside of the Fishman household, because I have worn this shirt. Out of 39 days, I've worn the shirt about 9 of them. And Gabby's probably been like, he's worn that shirt around me before on a happy hour. It's because I have. And it's like it's the comfiest shirt I own, and so it's just like it's funny. Shout out to the crew at Anytime Fitness, because this is like the funniest thing. You're getting so much ad value from this inside of the Fishman household, so we better be joining up.
I have two
for a new
follow-on
gym.
comments just to make my partner in crime look good, in that he is washing the shirts.
I'm watching
Because
the
Sherry
Okay.
Fishman, I've actually stayed at the household. Sherry Fishman is an angel to make sure that's coordinated. So Zach is not doing that. And then I'm also wearing a franchise shirt. This is East Coast Wings. Shout out. They're not our clients yet, but I would love for them to be. So just those are my two follow-up comments.
That's pressure on you, Sandalis. That's what I heard. But Gabby, what are you doing over there? I mean, you're in New Jersey, so I mean, like, how are things over there for you and the fam? I'm sure that it's weird to not be independent anymore and have to be with family.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I haven't, unfortunately, I was supposed to go to Unconference, and then as a firm, we kind of took the approach no travel, like the day before Unconference. So for me, that week was my last time in my apartment in New York City, and then I came back to New Jersey to my parents' home, which I haven't lived in a very long time. Also minimal clothing, basically all my high school cheerleading captain, attire, and that's really all I had. But it's been interesting. I mean, what I realized is I didn't want to be alone, at least in my apartment. So when I'm safer, I have a lot more food and alcohol. And quality time. It's very interesting because I have siblings that range in a lot of different years of life, college and then post-college. So for us, working from home is a little different for me to take all my calls, client meetings. I also have minimal clothing, but I've been trying at least to work out a lot. That's my only sanity, is blocking off time. So getting personal trainers and all the Zoom classes to support all your local gyms is important. That's been the only way I've been getting through this outside of whiskey. But it's definitely a great time, I think, to connect with everyone. I think everyone's having different challenges, different types of Zoom happy hours to stay connected. We as a franchise fam are used to seeing each other a lot, and now we don't get to physically see each other as much, but I would say I feel like we're still virtually seeing each other a lot. And I think that's the good thing to come out of this, and hopefully a lot of that continues even after the COVID. I think there's been a lot of great happy hours that have been spun up to kind of cultivate that sharing knowledge culture that shouldn't be, lost just because we get to go to conferences again. So that's, at least for me, the biggest takeaway is, we realize there's a need to stay connected, and we do it naturally during conference season. And now that we're not physically with each other, let's try to stay connected. And I think that's been the blessing out of all this.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that it's funny too, because I think that the Zoom happy hours is kind of like our to-do for every evening. And so like now it's like, oh, like I can't actually like talk to you right now because I have a Zoom happy hour, and you have like back to back to back, and then like you end up drinking every night, which I think is just like one of those things that like we do it anyways, but like it's not as abundantly clear as like when it's on your calendar, which I think is like the funniest part about it. So I mean, like,
is the funniest part. It's on your calendar.
It's on your calendar, so it's like it's almost like it's a work thing, but really it's not. So like you like when you go out with friends, like it's not on your calendar. It's just like it's a thing that you do, but you don't really like memorialize it anywhere. You just know what's happening, but you don't really have it on your calendar. But now it's like, oh, like you have a happy hour. It's the girls' happy hour from franchising, but like it's just like everybody's getting trashed, and that's really what it means, which is just like a funny. It's a funny concept.
Calling me out, my franchise girls happy hour.
Obviously,
I'll jump in because I haven't shared my experience. I made 2 comments about you, Zach, and then you can host that. So for me, COVID-19 has been probably
I was getting there.
Okay, probably a little different than for most, because I actually came down with COVID, as a lot of you guys maybe have heard. I got COVID-19, I guess it was mid-March. At the time, because it took a while to get the testing back, I was really hoping that I had it, because now I don't have to move as cautiously because I'm not infectious. They say that you can get it again, but there's a couple of really funny stories that happen. Like I live in a high rise here in Dallas, and my direct neighbor is literally streaming from her room because she's an anchor at the morning news channel, and she's streaming from her room, like trying to petition the city of Dallas to have them tell her which resident had COVID-19 because they announced it. And I'm literally like, and so I thought about texting and I didn't do that. But in all seriousness, this has been a very weird time. And kind of speaking to what Gabby just said, it's really incredible to see the community come together. I know everybody says that, but I'll give an example. Today, every Thursday, we're doing the Springboard at Home series. And within less than a week, Brad and Lane, and with the help of Jam, and with the ideas of many people, and Zach and Crystal came up with this idea, but they launched this thing called Franchise Switchboard. And it's just wild to see how brands pivot, and they're finding ways to create value for their members and for their customers and for all stakeholders. And then it's awesome to see the community and the suppliers do the same. And that's just out of, we say franchise fan, but that's out of just raw, like genuine, wanting to do something good for the community. So for me, I can speak for days on the perspective and COVID and life after COVID and all that, but it's just been really cool to see. And I have no doubt, while some businesses might not make it, I have no doubt that a lot of people are going to come out of this a lot stronger. And it's been tough, but it's been inspiring to see. So,
it's interesting. I feel like, everyone on this call, I mean, franchising has been, pretty much our whole career. We all got in at a pretty early age, and I'm grateful to have, this industry. It's somehow been so rewarding and continuing to be. And while this is a tough time, it's harder, I know, for a lot of other businesses. And every day I wake up and there's this main goal, and it's goodwill, and goodwill employees with customers, with potential customers, and with friends. I mean, every second we're in this together, you're building that goodwill. That bond will last, much more than months from now. And so I feel like there's some positive in that, and you really realize how much you do have a tribe and a community to lean on in the franchise space.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it's amazing how the community activates in times of crisis. And I think that's really what I've learned more than anything else is that, I mean, please, I think that we were actually just talking to her, but Angela Cote, who is as animated and as energizing as almost any person in franchising, including myself, who feels like I am basically just a walking Energizer bunny. But I mean, it's more than anything. She said that webinariosis was a disease that she kind of designated for this. But I think that the webinars that we've had and the amount of information that has been shared is not particularly typical for our space, right? I think that it's not super common that you're really getting content that feels reasonable and relevant in franchising. I think that's really, you kind of have to wait for a conference for that, so it feels more timely and it doesn't really feel like you can get it all the time, which I think is something that this pandemic has really changed, which I think is really interesting. And it doesn't really allow people to have an agenda either. And I mean, I know that for us, I mean, and most of my time is, I mean, look, we're all salespeople here. We really can't sell. So I mean, as suppliers, so for us, what do we do to get back to the community? And most of the time that I've been spending has kind of been trying to spread the word about, brands that are doing things that are innovative, and advice that they can give in order for other brands that may not be so lucky, that are non-essential, to really learn from that when things begin to become a little bit more normal. And so, I think that I think that this industry is going to be proven stronger from this. I think that we may see a pretty large contraction, and I think that that's upsetting. But I think at the end of the day, the only thing we do know is that we do have alcohol to get us through it, which is always good news. But yeah, I will say, when things are messed up when your favorite thing that happens to you in the past 39 days is when you get a haircut. So, I mean, like, that things are really going south when that's the case. But, I mean, it's a haircut and alcohol. And if that's really the simple joys in life, then that's a little concerning. So let's hope that this gets opened up pretty soon.
I'll add to that and just drop one line and say that it would really suck to, as for example, a small business operator, to not have a community like franchising. So that's it, to me. That's just it's the value in franchising. It's the people, and we're gonna come out of this stronger, and I have no doubt. So
I agree. Dan, who do you nominate? I'm curious.
Oh man. Well, being that I've already nominated 3 people without
this doesn't count. We know that.
We don't count. We don't count.
We just wanted to talk to you, sweetie. Please, come on, stop it.
This is just us to hang out.
I nominate for the Whiskey Wednesday Challenge Storm Miller, okay, because he hasn't been on here yet. Zan Gulish, I always forget his last name. And I had to really think about this last one, but since he hasn't been on here yet, Rob Cambruzzi. So you guys gotta get it going.
All right, Gabby.
Okay, so I nominate Bryn Gibbs, Sally Fasinelli, and Shane Evans. So those are my 3.
Hicks.
I nominate a guy that I call by the name of Johnny Broski. So that's number 1, AKA Johnny Weber. He's an awesome guy. I nominate Ryan Comby because he's a bro and a very smart guy. And I nominate Sam Ballas because I'm rocking the shirt.
So I'm gonna go a little bit more. I'm gonna go a little bit more prim and proper here, and they may be upset to hear this because they may drink more wine on an average year than we all do put together, but they won't tell you that. But I'm gonna go with Shelly Sun. I'm gonna go with David Barr, and I'm also gonna go with Catherine Monson. I'm really hoping that they actually do this, but you never know. And guys, I promise, if you don't want to drink whiskey, you can also drink wine, because I promise you the wine will be jealous of it either which way. But that is who I nominate.
Beautiful. I think we should do a cheers.
I think so too.
To good friends, to good people, and to franchising. Cheers.
Cheers.
Anything else, guys?
I don't think so. I think we should just hang out and talk, and then we can let everybody have their time back.
What are we on, a
How do I
formal
turn the
call?
thing off? Oh, okay, it's right here.
Is it still recording? Good clothes, I gotta tell you.
No, you do. Your t-shirts are bomb.
Hey,
I'm
Clash,
wearing
show us what you're
general
wearing
gun.
for the post take. The
Yeah,
outfit.
can you give us a thing? Like, I'll do my pose that Red always posts. You know, this one.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay, I'm going to watch the draft. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes,
Bye, Brad.